first run over fences, and then he went and won the last day, albeit not overly impressively. But no, I'd agree with you, Gary. I'd say he has to step up on that to beat Notebook and even his stable companion today.
Were you surprised to see Paul Townend riding Mellon today, notwithstanding the fact that Danny Mullins won on Cashback? Oh dear, look at this, Kate. This is not good news for Notebook fans.
Very keen on the way to start. But hopefully Rachel's kind of getting him settled there now. But, oh no.
Trying to get him over to the rail, I think, just to get him to drop his head a little bit.
I think he should have gone left instead of right down to the 2 mile start down the bottom there. But no, he's very on his toes.
He's got a long way to go to the start now.
He does, doesn't he? He's almost at the entrance to the back straight now, so not exactly ideal. He's just about being brought under control now by Rachel.
He's very fresh and well.
Yes.
I'd say Rachel will want to trot him now down.
I mean, we were talking about whether he was a short price or not on it. He's even money now. Yeah, I think anybody who has got stuck in won't have wanted to see those shots.
No, when you're backing an even money shot, Gary, you really want everything in your favour. And no, it's look, he could go and win, and he could win well, but it's definitely not something that you'd like to see with the especially with a horse who can be a bit keen in his races.
And he's got a very light bit in his mouth. He's got a white rubber bit. It's called a happy mouth. And, it is a very light bit. It's not like a metal bit. So.
OK, let's get back to Nick Luck.
Gary, thanks very much. Rich Ritchie with me now. He's been a man in demand since his 1-2 in the Dublin Chase. But if you're going to be enterprising and sporting enough to run two of your best horses in the same race, that's the outcome I guess you want.
Yeah, and in the right order. Yeah. Because I think men's trips, out and trip these days, his best trip's probably over 2.5, 2.5. Well, that's the order I wanted him to finish in. And, no, it's great to be 1-2, and I'm delighted Shaq is showing his stuff.
And I'd sort of tried to get from Willie how much he thought Shaka had improved since his run behind Aplutar. He was a little bit non-committal. Paul Townend felt he'd improved a fair bit.
Yeah, Paul said he jumps unbelievably well. He kind of idled when he hit the front of my eye, and I asked Paul about it. He said he did. I like that in a horse. I think he's improved loads, but, with Willie, I'd expect there's more improvement to come. He would have left something to work on for Cheltenham.
So all systems go. Champion Chase, Chacun Pour Soi. How much does Min deserve a big race at the Cheltenham Festival now? And how excited are you about going to the Ryanair with him?
Listen, I love Min. He's been fantastic for us. If, as we know, if that little horse called Altior wasn't around, he'd have been a Supreme winner and a Champion Chase winner. I'd love him to win at Cheltenham. That could be a hell of a race if Deputy de Sol decides to go that way and Aplutar shows up amongst others. So we'll have to see. But I'd love Min to get a big one there, yeah.
In terms of the horse you've got coming up here, Bapaume, he may not be one of your stars, but he's a very high-class horse on his day. What vibes are you getting from the camp today?
To be honest with you, I was surprised Paul picked Mellon. I think he probably has better hurdle form than we did. He certainly has better hurdle form than we did. But this fella of ours jumps like a cat. He was very good the last day, clearly unfit the first day. But Mellon's a fine horse in his own right. But I'm excited about Bapaume. He's been a big check spinner for us. He's done very well in France. He's a brilliant jumper. And hopefully he can do it today. I'm quite quietly sort of confident he's going to win.
And how about Sharjah?
The ground's coming our way, but Honeysuckle looks very special, doesn't she? And Henry is a great trainer, a lot of respect for him, and Kenny Alexander's a good guy, so we'll see. It should be a good race, but, the ground's coming our way, and Sharjah loves it here.
Well done, and thanks, Rich.
Thanks.
Cheers.
And we welcome viewers on the main channel. A reminder that Fakir Duderi is an absentee from this ESRG Arkle Novice Chase. Notebook heading the market at 6-5, but he's proved a real handful on the way down to the start. Cashback at 3-1, Mellon at 4s, 5 Bapaume, 20 Royal Rendezvous, 25-1 Gallant John Joe. Don McLean and Kate Harrington alongside me. Don, we've just been listening to Rich Ritchie talking to Nick Luck on Racing TV Extra. He sounds very confident about Bapaume in this. I guess why wouldn't he be confident after a 1-2 in the previous race?
Exactly. No, Bapaume's a player. Like he was a really good staying hurdler. That's how we know him best. But when he got beaten over 2.5 miles or 2 miles 5 on his chasing debut, and he just seemed to get tired from the second last fence that day, but then last time he was very good. And Willie Mullins did say at the time that he could be, even though he was a staying hurdler, he is a staying hurdler, he could be even better over a shorter trip. But it's very interesting how they're lining up here, because Cashback, we know that he likes to get on with things. Fakir Didderies could have been up there with him if he hadn't been scratched, so maybe the Cashback can get into a nice rhythm in front, but Rachel Blackmore there on the outside in Notebook is not going to let him have his own way.
It's likely to be fast and furious. Jerry Hannon with the call.
White flag is raised, and they're off. In the ERSG Arkle Novice Chase, 6 runners due to the absence of Fakir Duderdi, and straight into the lead is Cashback, followed by Notebook, then Melon and Bapam, Gallant John Joe, and held up as Royal Rendezvous as they come to jump the first of 11 fences. Cashback with Notebook coming up to dispute the lead, and the pair have opened up an advantage over Melon, then Bapam, Gallant John Joe, and Royal Rendezvous. Good gallop on here. Cashback, Danny Mullins disputes the lead with Notebook and Rachel Blackmore, the Racing Post winners. A clear break then to Melon and Paul Townend in third, and Bapam is fourth, Robbie Parr. Then Gallant John Joe, the mount of Barry Brown, on the inside of Royal Rendezvous and Mikey Fogarty. On they go to fences 2 and 3 away from the stands, and it's Cashback the leader. Gone on a couple of lengths in front of Notebook, and then Melon, Bapam, followed by Gallant John Joe and Royal Rendezvous. As they make their journey between fences 2 and 3, and it's Cashback going along in front of Notebook, and then Melon, followed by Bapam, Gallant John Joe and Royal Rendezvous, pretty much in the same order since they started, making the run to take them to the 4th fence, the first of the ones in the back straight. And it's Cashback the leader, one representing Willie Mullins, responsible for 4 in the race. Notebook second, lying about 3.5 lengths back, and then Melon, who's closed up, and then Bapam, followed by Gallant John Joe and Royal Rendezvous as they approach the 4th. And it's Cashback up and over from Notebook, Melon, Bapam, Gallant John Joe just squeezed along after that one. Royal Rendezvous remains last of the 6. Heading for the halfway stage in the Grade 1 ERSG Arkle Novice Chase. Cashback followed by Notebook, a clear second. Third is Melon, fourth is Bapam, fifth is Gallant John Joe, sixth and last is Royal Rendezvous. As they jump the next one, Fiddly over at the one in front, Cashback, but maintains a 2.5 length advantage over Notebook. Third is Melon, then Bapam, Gallant John Joe and Royal Rendezvous. Racing now to the first of 2 ditches. Cashback followed by Notebook, who's much closer in second, now a length and a half back. Bapam has taken a place ahead of Melon, and then Gallant John Joe, and a bit of drift as Royal Rendezvous. At the next fence in the back straight, Cashback from Notebook, and then comes Bapam and Melon, Gallant John Joe and Royal Rendezvous. For the jump, racing to the final fence down the far side, and it's Cashback attempting to make all of the running. Notebook remains second, then Melon and Bapam, that pair alternating positions, and then Gallant John Joe and Royal Rendezvous. 5 furlongs to race, 3 fences left to jump, and the field is beginning to stack up a little. Cashback tracked by Notebook, 2 lengths off them, and third is Melon, then Bapam, Gallant John Joe, Royal Rendezvous. Over the last ditch, Cashback, Notebook on the outside, followed by Melon, Bapam, Gallant John Joe and Royal Rendezvous. The first pair is starting to break away here. Cashback and Notebook gone 5 in front of a pushed along Melon as they come towards the second last. Cashback joined by Notebook, who was brilliant in the air, almost lost Royal Rendezvous. A good recovery made by Mikey Fogarty. Notebook on the outside of Cashback. The pair are coming further and further away from the other 4 as they swing into the straight. Good run to the final fence in the ERSG Arkle Novice Chase. Notebook and Rachel Blackmore on the near side of our hard-driven Cashback, and Danny Mullins. Gallant John Joe is coming from a long way back. Notebook and Cashback to the final fence. There's nothing in it. Notebook and Cashback, followed by Gallant John Joe and Melon inside the final 200 yards. Notebook is having to work. Cashback is giving it socks on the rail. 100 yards to go. Notebook from Cashback as they run towards the finish. Notebook will take it to 4 wins in the 2-mile Novice Chase division. Cashback is second, and again second. Gallant John Joe third, then Melon, Royal Rendezvous and Bapam.
Well, what a great spectacle that was, and Notebook has preserved his 100% record over fences. He's done so after expanding a bit of energy before the race, and on top of all that, Don, he's taking a bit of time to pull up. There's no doubt whatsoever, this is a hell of a good horse.
It's a hell of a performance, Gary. It definitely wasn't a negative, or wasn't a positive early on, his early exertions before he even got underway, but He's tracked Cashback the whole way. The two of them have pulled well clear. It's been some fight between the two of them. It kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit from the second last fence, but Notebook, he's got a bit of neck in front of Cashback there. It wasn't put to bed though. Cashback's fighting back on the far side, but Rachel Blackmore gives him another smack around the back, and he just digs deep again and goes on and wins by half a length. Now it's a really, really game performance.
Look at that, pricking his ears at the line. Kate, the second's given it a real good go, but as I say, bearing in mind what happened before the race with Notebook, you might have half expected him to, after a real ding-dong with Cashback, maybe just be feeling the pinch at the end. Not a bit of it. He was the stronger going to the line.
Not a bit. You know, he's a really, really game horse. He wants to win. He wants to please you. He loves his jumping. You know, I think the jump he put in at the second last was nearly the winning of the race. He was brilliant. And I just think this horse he's an absolute cracker. He's really starting to become a real favourite of mine.
Yes, that drew gas from the crowd. The jump two from the finish. Cashback jumped it well, but Notebook absolutely fluid and came away in front. And from that point on, Danny Mullins was just, I think, Don, trying to conserve a bit of energy, maybe to have one more go at Notebook. And you have to doff your cap to Cashback. He has backed up that Nate's performance with another really good effort, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. It's a big performance by Cashback as well. Yeah, like, because Notebook, with that jump at the second last, it took him to the front, and it looked like that was race over, really. But Cashback, in fairness, he responded to Danny Mullins' urgings. He held the inside on the way around the home turn and forced Notebook out wide. But Rachel Blackmore, she rode tight, didn't she? She rode as tight as she could, and that's very tight the whole way down to the last. And yeah, there wasn't much in it.
Let's see what Eddie O'Leary made of it. He's with Nick.
So I can put that question to him now. Gary saying, what did you make of that, Eddie O'Leary?
I think it was a fantastic race. Rachel gave it a fantastic ride. Willie's horse is obviously very, very good. So, like, they came a long, long way clear third. We were thrilled.
And he took a real good grip to post under Rachel Notebook. How worried were you on the way to the start?
I'd say he's a big improving horse. Like, he's getting faster as he goes. Because before this, we thought he was just a galloper. So, like, we actually ran him over 2.6 last year. That's how smart we are. No, he'd be thrilled with it.
I mean, he's got some real physical presence about him. He's a big, powerful horse.
I'd say he'll get better again next year. Hopefully, he'll have to. But that was a very good run and a very good ride.
Is it obvious that he now just goes to Cheltenham for the Arkle? Is that just straightforward?
Well, this was his trial for it, so I assume yes. All going well, I assume yes.
And do you think the demands of that race will suit him?
I think the hill will suit him. You know, so like hopefully, listen, he'll go there. You know.
And so many horses to look forward to over the next couple of days. Which one are you looking forward to the most?
I hope it rains a lot tonight. I hope
Delta work tomorrow.
I hope it rains a lot tonight. Because the ground is not yielding. The ground is good, firm places.
If it doesn't rain, will he run?
There'll be a lot of question marks asked. Hopefully it'll rain enough to make the ground safe for him.
But you'd have to take a, no pun intended, a rain check tomorrow if it didn't rain.
If it didn't rain, there'd be a lot of horse coming out. Okay. So hopefully it rains enough.
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Delta Work will turn up tomorrow. What sort of form's he in?
Touch wood. Hopefully everything's gone to plan, and he should think he'll improve after Christmas. And if he did, again, give us a clear round, we're happy.
And how do you assess his chance against the rest as things stand at the moment?
Tell you that tomorrow.
But if it stays as it is at the moment,
listen, there's a smashing horse presenting Percy, like Willie's horse, a smashing horse. That's a fantastic race in its own right. So it should be some spectacle, hopefully.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes, hope we don't have a case of deja vu tomorrow. We've had a couple of high-profile withdrawals today already due to the grounds, and here is Notebook making his way back to the winners' enclosure, where I'm sure he'll get a great reception. And we knew, guys, going into this, even with Fakir Duderi out of the way, that there was probably going to be no hiding place. These two horses, they like to get on with things. That's exactly what they did, and nothing else could live with them. Barry Brown has done a great job, I think, on Gallant Jonjo, just to hunt around and pick up third place. But even when he looked as though he might get a bit closer down going to the last, he never managed to after they got over it, did he?
That's the thing, isn't it? They both ran the whole way to the line, and Cashback did the same when he won his last time. He was look keen and free, and when 0-10 came to him, he ran all the way through the line. And likewise here, the two of them ran all the way to the line. Like they both dug deep, and yeah, it did look like Alan Jonjo was going to pick some pieces, but as soon as he did on the run to the last, the two of them they spurred each other on, and they both just dug deep, and it was a big battle between the two of them.
You just see the price for the Arkle at Cheltenham there with Sky Bet 11-4 from 7-2. Kate, I'd say that's fair enough. The one worry you might have maybe is, given what he did before the race today, the hullabaloo of Cheltenham could just set him off a little bit. But if he keeps his cool over there, he's going to take a hell of a lot of stopping, isn't he?
Yeah, he really will. Even in the parade ring beforehand, they went back out to the pre-parade ring because he was getting a little bit worked up. But, you know, there's plenty of things they can do. They can pop a hood on him in the parade ring or pop a pair of earplugs in him. You know, there's plenty of things you can do to try prevent that or go down to the start early. But he's an absolute, to do what he did before the race and then to go and win, like, he's an absolute cracking horse. And all he wants to do is win and please. You can see him there afterwards compared to the last, compared to Chacun Pour Soi. Like, he's wanting to walk around the parade, where Chacun Pour Soi kind of was head down and blowing quite hard after the race, whereas he's full of energy still.
Yeah, he's an absolute cracker of a horse. And for Henry de Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore done after the frustration of having to miss out with a Plutard straight back in their Grade 1 level, they still have so many good horses to look forward to this weekend.
Grade 1, yeah, like they had such a good Christmas, and like it seemed that his horses peaked for Christmas, but Notebook's peaked again.
Let's have a look at it from down the back straight here and just concentrate on the jumping. Cashback does make one mistake. It could be this fence here. He just gets in a bit tight to. That was the one, yes. He wasn't foot perfect there. Notebook jumped it well and closed up on him. But from this point on, guys, the two of them really jumped so well, and we start seeing mistakes creeping in from the likes of Mellon and Bapaume in behind, Kate, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. I think Bapaume jumped a lot better. He wings that fence there, but I think he'd be a better horse stepping up to 2.5, in my opinion. Now he's got his jumping together. But I think and Mellon just... no excuses for him again. He just didn't really raise a gallop. But Cashback and Notebook, they really go at each other from now on, and their jumping is faultless.
Yes, it was two fences back there. Mellon was a bit sticky. That last one, Bapaume, didn't jump it all that well done. And I guess you have to put that down to the pressure that's being poured on from the front here by Danny Mullins, don't you?
Exactly. The two of them. And even you can see Notebook there at the fourth last. He was just a little bit wrong, but he put in a nice little short stride, and he was still economic and quick over it, and that allowed him negotiate an obstacle he wasn't meeting on his stride without losing ground on the leader. And he wasn't out to his right at all today that I could see.
Both of them sticky there, Mellon and Bapaume again, as they're just starting to feel the pinch a bit more.
Yeah, and you can see like Danny Mullins obviously just giving Cashback a squeeze, and the two of them come away. Here's the second last now. Notebook flies. And you said, Gary,
brilliant.
Cashback didn't jump it poorly, but yet he lost a bit of length on Notebook, who went from a half a length behind to a half a length up in air.
He's just a joy to watch, Kate, isn't he? And fair play to Cashback. This was the moment you might have expected maybe him to crack, but not a bit of it. He stays in there. And the eye is drawn to Gallant Jonjo in behind, who, as I say, has just crept into it under Barry Brown, but he just can't get any closer, can he?
No, he can't get any closer. You know, he'd definitely be up to winning a beginner's from that run. But, you know, the two of them here, they just meet it a bit short. But Rachel straight away after it. And, you know, I think Notebook, when he gets his head in front, he's doing very, very little. He's only just pulling out as much as he has to. And, you know, in a horse, I love seeing a horse that does that because they're not exerting themselves. It's these horses that go and win by 10, 15 lengths. You know, you think they're winning easy, but they're actually not winning as easy as you think they are.
Yes, Rachel Blackmore getting a great cheer from the crowd here at Leopardstown in the winners' enclosure. And just every time he runs, I'm with Kate on it. Just he enhances his reputation more and more. This horse,
he does, because like last year he wasn't among the top novice hurdlers, and like he was rate in the mid 130s. He ran over different distances. He stepped up and tripled up to 2.5 miles. But then this year, since he's dropped back down to 2 and gone over, look, we expect Henry de Bromhead's horses to improve for jumping fences, but this fella's improved immeasurably, really, from 135 all the way up to like whatever rating he'll have now. It's a very, very high mark for a 2-mile novice chaser, and 2 miles is his trip. He's a pure 2-miler, isn't he?
Look at the two of them there after the line as well. The two of them took a good while to pull up, which after a set 2 like that, you don't see it very often, do you?
No, you certainly don't. And, you know, I just love this horse, Notebook. I think he just was a horse, maybe. He's such a big horse. He just maybe took a little while to fill out and, you know, really strengthen up. And, you know, we might see even more improvement next year.
And what is the future for the likes of Mellon and Bapaume done? It's very hard to see them beating these two horses, isn't it, in a similar race?
It is. Like, Bapaume in particular, like, I expected him to run better than he did. He looked like he'd get the race run to suit a fast pace up front that he could just tuck in behind, and halfway down the back straight when he put in that jump and jumped Mellon and moved into third, it looked like he was going to take apart, but no, he just hasn't gone on, and I'd say, you know, it's all about Notebook, but Cashback enhanced his reputation as well.
He really did. There's the full result then of the RSG Arkle Novice Chase. 5 Notebook your winner, the 5-4 favourite from 2 Cashback in second at 100 to 30. 3/4 of a length separated them after a fantastic duel.